should I unmute myself? Should I mute myself? What?
No. Right now, you be on mute. A warm namaste to our readers from India. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to readers from other parts of the world. Welcome to this Pioneer Book Lovers Club author show. Pioneer Book Lovers Club was set up in 2020 with the objective of promoting reading and writing of literature within the community. The club also has a Facebook group. We are streaming live through the Facebook group also. Now on this group, the members read, discuss, and review books. The club is also running a write contest since 2021, May 2021, where we invite short stories from our readers based on a prompt which is released every month. And we have received a fantastic response to this write contest. Best entries in this short story contest have a chance to get published in an anthology. Details for this write contest are also available on the Facebook group. We also invite authors every month for an interactive show to interact with members of our group. And as I said earlier, we also stream it live on Facebook. So those of you who are watching our show through Facebook Live, please keep sending queries, and our author of the month, Abhimanyu, will either respond through in between the show, or maybe later also he will respond. Now, I'll also request those of you who are watching through the Facebook Live to please stream it on their wall, so that others, their friends also can join in. They can also view this wonderful interactive show. Now, a little about our host. Our host for this month is Mridu, who is in conversation with Abhimanyu, as I said, our author of the month. Mridu is a multifaceted talent. She is a reading enthusiast, loves books, the smell, the content, the flights of imagination that these stories provide. She grew up learning in English medium, and hence she is very comfortable in that language. She loves every tint, tone, and shade of the fiction genre except the macabre. So over to you, Mridu, and over to you, Abhimanyu. The show is all yours now. I'll request Mridu and Abhimanyu to unmute themselves and to go live. Welcome.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Hi, Abhimanyu.
Hi, Mridu. Good evening. How are you?
Okay. I must confess that I was introduced to your genre or to your books by Sanjay ji, and
Right.
I'm grateful for that, because I did quite enjoy reading Saat, specifically the first story. It is the way the poetry flows in that is something.
Thank you so much.
On me. I'm not a poet person, but I always imagine that if I would write poetry, maybe it would be just stringing words along, without any structure, so as to speak. But I quite enjoyed the flow of thoughts in those little poems that you put up in the first story itself.
Thank you.
So Abhimanyu, folks, for all of you who are not well acquainted with him, his full name is Abhimanyu Jambal. And from what I researched about him, he is a son of a policeman. And I must say that's salute to your father. And I believe
I will convey the message if he's not watching it.
No problem. And I believe you've lived in quite few exotic places. Can you hear me, Abhimanyu?
I would say so, yes.
Yes. So that was very interesting.
I can. Can you hear my voice? Good.
Yes, I
Perfect.
can. All right. To begin with, I know what Bulfi means, but do you mind explaining it to everyone? Because instead of Abhimanyu, your name comes as Bulfi. So please, I know
Yes.
what, but everyone would like to hear it from you.
Sure. So Bulfi is the lead character of my third book, a novel. And because I'm just consumed by the character right now, so I can't think of anything else. So I just thought that why not, let people know that the lead for the next novel is Bulfi. And Bulfi is obsessed with theater, and he is obsessed with crime. And that's all I can tell you right now.
That's wonderful. In fact, even your first one, I'm actually going to get myself that copy. I do want to read your first novel also, which Beyond Three Words. So it's like
Right.
title. It's very mad. I've read the synopsis about that book, but when I just read the title, I thought it's going to be just a straight, simple love story where someone goes beyond I and you. But
Right.
I read up the synopsis. Lovely. Do you mind explaining a little about that also to us?
Sure. I'll keep it very short. It's about a schizophrenic girl and her therapist, and the love story that brews during their sessions, during their counseling sessions. And it's just that who is getting counseled is very difficult to understand. So that's where the love story goes.
Sounds
Rest
lovely.
everything is spoilers.
Sounds lovely. I love these kind of, little complex stories. It really piques the imagination.
I'll give you a snippet as well. So I'm sure you must have seen the current cover of Beyond Three Words. But if you see at the background, right, you see that big ass banner right on the left side of my camera, right?
Yes.
That's the original Beyond Three Words cover that and
Oh.
in fact the boots are mine. I'm standing in the cover with a friend of mine who agreed to do the cover shot. So that's how the whole yes. So I'm in the room where it's lying since years. I thought it was just
Abhimanyu, tell us what inspired you to come up with a story like that.
Beyond Three Words. Beyond Three since right.
Hanji, sorry. Abhimanyu, are you there?
Beyond Three Words was. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right. So should I carry on? Should I go forward?
Please do.
Right. So Beyond Three Words was very abrupt. It just came along with my writing. So I was not a writer. I do not come from a literature background. I come from law background. I'm a science student who did law and ended up doing content writing. So writing happened very suddenly, and this was the story that I really wanted to write. I wanted to write about a schizophrenic human being, because the whole this condition really fascinated me. And then if you create a character, and then obviously the ancillaries come in between. So once you've created a schizophrenic girl who's criminally insane, because that's how you grow ideas, you wanted to create a romantic thriller. So then the moment Daniel Hart, my favorite character, the therapist of that young lady, when he came into the scene, then it just ended up being into a beautiful story. It just unfolded itself on its own. I didn't do anything to it.
Okay, that's lovely. That's lovely. I'm going to quote you here. You have written in one of your interviews that I read online, you say time is a writer's best friend.
Yes.
And I believe that is also your message to all budding writers to not give up.
I mean, yes, in a way. Also, it's what do you call it? It's not just don't give up. Of course, you shouldn't give up. I won't tell anyone to give up. But here's another thing. It's about your story. For me, if I have to write, I can't have a deadline. I know I have to. Sometimes the contract demands that you have to, but that's not worse, but that's a bad thing. That's something that I wouldn't prefer doing. So I want time on my story because it brews. It just gets better and better, and I want that. That's why every writer, if you have even an iota of a doubt that okay, I'm not satisfied. Me personally as a writer, I am not satisfied. You give it time. You let it rest over there. You go somewhere. You do something for a month or 2 months, or I take a year if you have to, or if you can. So that's why time you will be satisfied with your story, and then it will come out however it has to.
Okay, so in your first one, Beyond Three Words, it was one story in a novel. Now in your second one, you went ahead and put in 7 stories, 7 different friends. So you called it Saat. But how did and each one of them is different. There is no way you can link the stories as such. Each is a different entity by itself. So tell us a little about how these different magnificent ideas came to you. And what was the source of inspiration, your muse or whatever?
Muse. Muse in gender, I don't have a muse. So I haven't, there's no embodiment of muse for me in a particular human being. But But if there has to be one, if there has to be a creative zone where I get my creativity from, where I write from, where I get inspired from, it has to be the zone. There's a zone where I am in when I know it. That's one of the most purest, places I can be ever. If I really have to romanticize it, I can say that, I'm one with God at that time. But sometimes the place gets really slippery and dark. So even God will say, I'll pass. I don't want to come over there. So that zone is very pure, and that becomes a, sure, you get inspired by people who you meet, or as you are also a human being, you meet people, you socialize. So when you are meeting people, some or the other person, I've had all the female characters in my books, both of the books, and even the one that I'm writing right now, some or the other trait has been taken from all. I've been fortunate enough to meet some fantastic people in my home, like my mother, my sister, my friends, my ex-lovers, my love people, and you do, extract some trait or the other, and you do put that in. You might not put the entire person in your book, but as far as muse is concerned, it's just that zone when I enter. Then nothing, everything else fades. So if I am not in that zone, I do not write. Then I just, if I'm, then I read, then I do research. But if I know that I'm not in that zone, there's a lot of conflict going on, so I stay away. So that zone will be my muse. So that's how I get inspired to write. Saat was just, Saat was born because of rejection. I got rejected by Times of India. Like there was a contest, short story contest, and they said that write a short story for us and it'll get published. So these big Indian authors, Durjoy Datta, Chetan Bhagat, Amish Tripathi, they were judging the contest, and I was like, beyond 3 words I couldn't reach out to people, so let's write short stories to impress those judges, and they will say, oh, he has also written beyond 3 words, so why don't you read beyond 3 words? But I ended up writing carelessly, and those stories weren't up to the mark. So obviously I got rejected. And once I got rejected, I got furious at Times of India and all those big guns, which didn't make sense. It was very naive. But I was angry. I was like 23, 24 at that time. And I was like, I'm a good writer and they should acknowledge it. So that anger led to me writing short stories. Like I just wanted to perfect this craft of short story. I was like, 3,000 to 5,000 words. Let's kill it. How bad can it be? So I gave it time. Like I didn't put a bracket to it, but I was like, let's learn it and let's just go out with it. When I had 7 short stories, and this was a deliberate attempt that it can't be one genre. It can't be one genre because I'm not one genre. I'm not. If there very recently I saw this pie chart on Google that says genre fiction and literary fiction, and that pie chart intersects, and there's this tiny oval that intersects. That's the common thing. That's where I lie. Now, I found out very recently that that's where I lie, and I call my writing style provocative literary fiction. So that's my zone of writing, and hence Saat came out. Lalita, I'm sure she's watching right now, my agent. So she spotted me at an event, and things just kept moving forward.
Well, kudos to you, Ms. Lalita. Thank you for bringing this guy forward to us. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have just still been chasing some literary giants to publish him. Thank you so much, ma'am. And Abhimanyu, getting back to you, you mentioned earlier, and I've read also about you, that you were writing a brief about some legal brief, and then, you sort of zoned out kind of a thing, and you wrote a small story.
Yes.
Crashed immediately because that, somewhere in your mind it said that you're not supposed to go down this path kind of a thing. So I want to know what was the first story which you trashed. Do you remember?
What was the first story?
The one
that story is, yes, I do remember it. I do remember it so well that I can write it in reverse order right now, even if I have to right now. I remember it so well. But here's the thing. That's directly related to my family, me and my family. Like there was this one small incident that and it was when I was in 5th standard, and we were somewhere in a hill station far away, and it was a small thing that happened. Nothing major happened, but that story came out like, I don't know, it came. That's this reason why I became a writer. Like at 21, before that I was, as I said, I'm not from a literature background. So I only used to buy Nancy Drews to impress the girls who used to read Nancy Drew. So until Harry Potter came into existence, then I became a fan of J.K. Rowling. So before that, no, I was not a literature person. I never used to read. So at 21, when I was a lawyer, so I had to write this rejoinder. I came back home, I opened my laptop. I still remember I was in my flat in Delhi working in a law firm, and my mother was sleeping in front of me because she had visited my place. I remember the silhouette in the dark room of my mother sleeping on the bed. I was writing, and Adele was playing at the background. The song is called Hometown Glory.
Right.
It starts with piano notes, that song. Those piano notes, Adele's voice, and something, because maybe my life, I didn't want to do law. There was so much frustration, anxiety, whatever. It just came out in a story. And when that happened, it was just an answer. I didn't ask any question, but that was the answer. So I didn't, search anymore. Yes. So that was the final push. So I chose that, okay, yes, writing it is.
So I think you must thank your lawyer professors and teachers at law college, because lawyers learn to
Yes.
write so much. So somewhere down the line that helped you to write, so as to speak.
Yes.
Also, you
Yes.
mentioned you were a content writer. So what kind of content did you
Right.
initially write? This is for jingles or so for what exactly?
No, not jingles. My company is a hardcore design firm. Was a hardcore when I used to work with them. They were very serious with design. So they had product design, and they were an award winning. They are an award winning firm. So they did food packaging. And so I don't know whether I'm supposed to take names, but I don't know. There were brands like Baskin and Robbins, Haldirams, and all. So I remember working for all these people. So I used to write content for them, and then you have to create new names for brands, and then you have to write content for websites, for universities, etc., etc. So it sounds creative. It is creative to an extent, but at the end of the day, it's again a hardcore 9 to 5 job with a flavor of creativity. That's it.
So you wanted the creativity with all the freedom that goes with it, no boundaries and.
Yes, it's always better. But if I'm left with no other means and I have to, then I have to. So then you have to struggle, because I've done that already. So when I see that I can give myself 2 or 3 years. So or maybe I'll shift back to my hometown Jammu, and then I won't be worried about rent, etc., etc. So I can give myself a couple of years. So then I just push with my writing. Then I don't look for gigs like these.
Tell us which authors inspire you, or now that earlier, okay, Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys didn't, and then J.K. Rowling came around, but now when you are yourself trying
Right.
to understand a lot more about it, so who inspires? Who do you like? Who's your go-to author?
I've got many. So I don't search for genre. I don't go for I want to read thriller or I want to read fantasy. So I'm more of I feel like reading Salman Rushdie right now, so I'll pick up a Salman Rushdie book. So, or if this is what I like to. I'm not doing it, I'll tell you why, but this is what I like to do. Or maybe I would like to pick a Chuck Palahniuk book, or these are the authors, or Bukowski if I want to read poetry. I will pick such books. I really want to read James Joyce. And there are some fantastic Indian authors, my contemporaries. I want to read Lata's book. I want to read Shirish's book, Nandita, Prateep. There are so many books that I really want to read. I don't get time because I read what I have to read. So right now, since I mentioned Bulfi is also a vehement, strong critique of Shakespeare. So right now I have to read Shakespeare. I'm going through stories that I already know, with the hope that I'll learn something new about the guy, Shakespeare, right? So I have this entire Shakespeare collection. So I'm going through that right now. So whenever I do get time, I try to read Dostoevsky, or I love to read George Orwell. So these are the guys that I really like.
Okay. So you're a little above just the regular fiction and genre kind, those just the entertainment.
Sometimes I do pick up Sidney Sheldon or Stephen King because you have to let off the steam sometimes, right? Sometimes you have to. So you can't always be all that, subliminal thoughts. Kabhi kabhi zyada ho jata hai.
Okay, that's wonderful. So tell us how Bulfi came about. How did the inspiration for Bulfi come around? You told us about Beyond Three Words. You told us about Saat. Right. Now tell us about Bulfi.
Bulfi, it's still very, very early. Very, I can't explain how the character is going to develop because it still hasn't developed. The idea was just because my recent fascination with theater, how theater people convey their message to the audience. Like, it's not cinema, it's not, CGI or After Effects or anything. It's just a stage, and how they convey. And since I really wanted to write something about crime, so it just combined together. And you need a guy to, carry that burden, right? So Bulfi, the name Bulfi has another story. A friend of mine visited my place, a very good friend of mine. So at that time, my father, there were these security guards standing at the gate, because my father, he's guards and all. So he asked for me. My friend asked for me. He asked my name, but these guards, maybe he was new or something. He didn't know my name, and he used the word Bulfi. So he asked people that who is Bulfi in this house. And my friend had asked. So it was just, there was this, there was this gap in communication. So it was just a joke. It was just a joke that we used to crack on each other, that, okay, Bulfi, Bulfi, use this name. That's how names come to me. I really want to use Minerva, the character in Beyond Three Worlds.
Right.
That Minerva was my classmate when I was this tall, pretty girl, who everyone used to. She ended up becoming a good friend of mine. But when she entered, we were all, fifth, sixth standard boys, short boys, and she was this tall girl who you just glue out of our leagues, right? So we were like, yeah, this girl is really good looking. She entered. So that happened 10 years ago. So I just wanted to use that name because of that very image that I had in my head when she entered the class. So similarly, Bulfi is just a name. Bulfi is also another. So in Jammu, people. If you talk to local people, right? So the Dogri language, you will hear less of "ver" and more of "ber." So if, for example, your name is Vicky, so you will hear Jammu people, if they're talking in Dogri, no, when they're talking like this, they will say Vicky, but when they're talking in Dogri, right? So it becomes Vicky. So
Okay.
Bulfi is also Wolfie. So it's like a pet name of a wolf, right?
Okay.
So that's also where the strength is derived from. So it's a mixture of a lot of things. It's a mixture of crime, theater, and some mystery that comes along with the creature wolf.
That's lovely. Okay, so can we in the future also expect something from your father's files? I'm sure he must have so many exciting stories to narrate, which you can obviously
Oh,
fictionalize.
you have no idea. I have decided that I'll only write only one nonfiction, and it has to be, it has to be inspired by, my father's
Hmm.
adventures. Adventure is an understatement, but yes, yes.
Yes, I'm sure.
I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I never spoke about this ever, but I really want to do this.
That's nice. Okay, there was something that I've I mean, all of us have noticed it over these years now. And I mean, we are old, belong to a different generation from yours. We're an older generation. But
Right,
even when you were growing up, most of the authors that we heard of or read in English or in fiction was always the Westerns. And
right.
classics mein, Hindi mein, it was always Premchand Paroji.
Premchand, yeah.
I think
Rabindranath
it was
Tagore,
like the
Premchand, yes.
epitome of everything for us. I'm sure there were
Right,
other authors,
right.
so many brilliant other Hindi authors, but school syllabus mein it was always Premchand. And in
Yes,
English, it was always Shakespeare. And if
right.
you moved out from these genres and you came into the light reading, so as to call, then it was all the Westerners. Now,
Yes,
suddenly, for the past couple of years, there have been a lot of Indian writers coming up.
right.
What do you credit that to? How do you see this change happen? And what do you think has brought about this change? What because in
First,
every corner,
if first I'll be brutally honest about it. First is ease of business. Many people have suddenly become publishers. I have no idea how. I'm not blaming them, but that's the truth. That's exactly what's happening. I've suddenly seen there are so many. So for example, Lalita, right? If someone like Lalita comes and after years of being in literary agency, she says that, okay, I want to start a publishing house. That makes hell lot of a sense to me, because I know her personally, so I'll say yes, you can do that, right? You give another amount of years to add and you'll be a successful publisher. But then there are businesses that suddenly popped up, right? And then they have smart ads and taglines like, do you want to publish a story? So I've sometimes when I used to go to open mics, so the people who were not judging, but who were conducting the open mic, they used to tell that, okay, I sat at night and I woke up in the morning and I finished 2 of my ebooks. They were fiction, they were novel. So I was right, God bless you, man. I don't know, because that doesn't have, I'm taking years, right? So it's like maybe you're gifted or whatever. So that's that kind of business that, okay, I want to get into it. I'm not that, but I want to get into it. So I will give major credit to that, because if you are a publisher and if you're looking for fiction writers are very rare to find, especially if you're talking about traditional publishing. And when you go to self-publishing, so obviously anyone can get published. Anyone can get published. So there are many people who are not meant to be lawyers, but they become lawyers. Similarly, there are many people who are not meant to become writers, but they become writers. So I think the game is still the same. Us as readers have to pick good ones, but let as many as they can come. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so as robust as our history and culture is, you notice that among all the new coming writers, history and retelling of the mythologies and everything is huge.
Yes.
Everyone giving it their own
Yes.
twist, or interpreting, or using one tidbit from the past and then, inventing a whole new story on it. Are you also
Right.
intending to go down that path? Would that be?
That's not my style. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't say anything ill about it as well, because if you see the Western literature, the English literature, you will see so much of books getting adapted from Greek mythology. You will see so many shades of Zeus. You will see so many shades of Odysseus. You will see Iliad and what's the other name? I always forget. The Odyssey and the Iliad, right? So you will see so many things that got inspired from these books. So it's okay to do that. I mean, there's so many people. I'm glad that they are doing it, because how many fiction books have you read that got inspired by Mahabharata or Indus Valley civilization? Our friend Prateep has written a book that got inspired by Indus Valley civilization. So there are so many books that are now coming out. So I'm glad that it's happened, but that is not my style. I will never go, because my mind doesn't tell me to do all these things. It never allows me to go this path. Uska kuch apna chal raha hai, so I get a different kind of feedback from that. So I have to be a slave to that.
Okay. So I had read this interview of yours, which while you were talking, I just realized that I want to share this with everyone. In this interview, the interviewer had asked that, had quoted something like, sometimes we do not get a chance to thank each one who has helped us in our journey. And basically they asked you, let the readers get a chance to know about all the important people who have played a part in this journey of yours. And I love this answer that you have written. Everyone, I'd love for you all to hear this carefully. I'm reading it verbatim from the net because I love this particular thing that he said. No one helps you until you prove your worth, until you become or show the potential to become an asset. Then many offer help because it leads to mutual growth. And some offer help purely out of vested interests. It isn't something to be frowned upon. It's the way of life. So I would like to first and foremost thank myself for working hard and for not letting complacency win, followed by my family and handful of loved ones who genuinely enjoy my success. People, I love this line that he has said, that he would like to thank himself for never giving up. It is a testimony to his confidence, to his belief in himself that he can deliver the kind of stories, or everyone has imagination, everyone thinks of a lot of things, but Abhimanyu, hats off to you for believing in yourself and never letting it go. I am thoroughly impressed, and boy, I'm going to use this quote. I'm going to use this a lot. So I am very impressed.
All yours.
I was very impressed, and talking about his thoughts and his belief, viewers, he also has a blog. It is known as Tall Sick.
Right.
And the tagline is
toxic. It's toxic.
Toxic, a writer's talking blog. Tell us about this, Abhimanyu.
Yes.
Tell us about your blog, please.
This is just my playground. I have fun over it. There's no deep philosophy behind it. Because I write so much that is irrelevant to any of the books that I've written or I have to write. So sometimes I'm just writing stuff. Either, mental notes also need a way to come out. So my phone, there's an app in every phone called notes, right? So my notes is filled with such toxic things that I write. And it's not toxic, it's actually talk space sick. And the sick is the positive sick that, you know, us millennials use. You know, that thing was sick. So it's in a good way, right? The positive sick. So if anyone wants to think like that, please, most welcome. It's just, you know, sometimes whatever more main, you know, many writers blog about, I just talk about it so people can go on Spotify and listen to it. I was just trying to keep up with the technology, that's all. It's just me blogging, but you will hear my voice. And that theme is very, you know, it keeps on repeating in my work. So even when you will read beyond 3 words, so there's this concept, it's called the man inside. So this man is a genderless entity inside everyone's head. I just happen to call it man inside, but it's inside your head too. It's inside my head. It's the very voice that talks inside your head when you are quiet. You know, even when you read something, for example, you've written something and you read it without moving your lips. So there's this voice inside your head, right? So that voice is the man inside. So that toxic is, you know, another way of expressing the very same concept. So it keeps on happening. So that's just, technology has helped me to put it out through Spotify.
That's lovely. In fact, I haven't yet started following you because I didn't know of this earlier. But I intend to hear you out on this also, because it's very nice the way, even in Saat, initially when I started reading it, I felt that, oh my God, another millennial, and you're going to use those kind of words and those kind of language, which I really don't get. I mean, I'm still the person who will not like short forms. I mean, I was by the way, it's not BTW kind of a thing.
I get it, yes.
I still do those things. I still have to write everything down. Nothing just goes directly typed up kind of a thing.
Right.
But your style was very refreshing, Abhimanyu, I must say. And I've been, trust me, I've read a lot of people who would be, okay, ab chodo kind of a thing, you know, like we can do away with those books. And this doesn't just have to do with the young ones, even among the genre and generation. There's so many books that I started, then I said that, no, this is not something that I can handle anymore kind of a thing.
Right.
I found your style very refreshing. And as I mentioned earlier, viewers, you all must read Saat, specifically the first story. And this goes out to everyone who thinks that they cannot write or they cannot rhyme or they don't have an ounce of creativity in you. Do read the one where this, it's an open mic thing and everyone has to just spout their feelings in form of poetry.
And Walls Without Ears. The short story is called Walls Without Ears.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that. So please, viewers, you all must
it's okay, please.
Specifically that story, because it is very inspirational. Anyone who thinks that they don't have any inch of creativity in them, everyone has it. It's just that you bring it out in a different way. Everyone has their own way of expressing things and putting out things. And it doesn't always have to be the set meter or the set rhyme or the set number of words and things like that. So it is a very inspirational story. And I take inspiration from it. It really makes me feel that, my God, there's so much potential in me also to come out and do something maybe someday.
Fantastic. That's the best thing I've heard today. Fantastic.
So Abhimanyu, any words of wisdom for the youngsters who might be joining us? I don't know where all they might be right now, hearing us out. Any words of wisdom for them?
Before that, I discovered, if you don't mind, I'll take 2 minutes because I wrote it down. That's why. So I remember when we were young and cable TV came out, like it was very new to us at that time. So earlier we used to watch DD Doordarshan, Chandrakant on Saturday, etc., etc. We used to watch all that stuff. So mid 90s to early 90s, cable TV came to my house, right? So, and then we grew up. So my childhood, I've spent my childhood watching Star movies and Cartoon Network. These were my go-to. So when I'm not in school and when my mother is not, killing me to do my homework, so I'm either watching Star movies or Cartoon Network. So I became a huge Hollywood movie fan at a very young age because their action movies were way better than our action movies.
Yes.
So, so when I used to, now here's the thing, Saat, why I'm talking about that right now. So I was a kid, like I must be 5 years old or 6 years old. So during those years in Hollywood movies, the lovemaking scenes or the kissing scenes were very common, right? And that wasn't common to us who came from DD Doordarshan, right? So when you're watching a movie, and it's not like my entire family used to enjoy all these movies. But when I'm alone, right? So, and whenever those scenes used to come, right, there was this weird fear. So my focus was divided. Half of it was on the door, that what if my mom enters, and half of it was on the remote button that I'll change it to Cartoon Network. Now, here's the funny thing about Saat. Saat mimics that exact feeling when you are reading Saat. So when you're reading Saat, you will always have this thing at the back of your head that is someone watching, or maybe I'll get caught reaching. And it's not that people are making out or having sex after every 2 pages in Saat. That rarely happens in Saat. The
Yes.
main reason why that happens while reading Saat is that people, the characters, right? Most of the characters are peeling the layers of shame off of themselves. They are doing that constantly till the time there is no shame left, till the time there's a stage of innocent shamelessness, absolute innocent shamelessness. That's the reason why the reader also feels exposed. I constructed this whole monologue right now because I got the reviews in my DMs and text messages that people were telling me that this is happening while I'm reading Saat. This is happening while I'm reading Saat. It's almost acting like a therapy. So these are the good things that I've taken out from reviewers and readers. About writing, as you asked, I just stay pure to it. Don't lie to yourself. If you think that you are going to write, like you want to be a writer, then don't write. If it's coming from within, like if it's coming, as Charles Bukowski says a lot of times, like if it's burning inside, it will come out of you. Otherwise, don't do it. So I follow that dirty old man. He makes sense. So yeah, if you are a writer, you will write a story. So if you're not a writer, just read good stuff. Maybe, or wait, you'll become one. There's always time. Maybe after 20 years, maybe after 10 years, you'll become one.
Before I read Saat, I did go online to check a review about it as to like, what am I getting into? And I love that little
Right.
tagline of yours, provocative literary fiction, as you call it. I'm sorry, I haven't
Yes.
got the hang
Right.
of it. And
Right.
I don't know what everyone thought, but the minute I read provocative, it didn't make me get into the sexual part of it. It made me think. It made me think. It actually it provoked thoughts in my head that what is he going to, is he going to leave these open-ended question stories, or is he going to leave us
Right.
hanging trying to figure out what happens next, kind of a thing. And that's what
Right.
intrigued me most. Then I got my book and I
Right.
read as usual, I have to always read the jacket first, and you got
Yes.
me at the jacket. You totally got me first at provocative literary fiction, and then you got me at the
Right.
jacket. That's how I
Thank you.
started reading and got into
Thank
it.
you.
So the journey has been lovely, Abhimanyu. I'm really grateful to you. And I love that little thing that you said, innocent shame. Isn't that
Shamelessness.
the,
Yes.
yeah. So
Innocent
that's
shamelessness. Yes.
innocent shamelessness. That's lovely that you use that. So basically writing helped you get over that then for yourself also. Wouldn't you say so? That you've put yourself
Not at
out
all.
there.
No, not at all. That's what really amuses me and surprises me, because for me it's not a way of catharsis or therapy. It has never been like that. Never been like. It's not like I started like that and now I've become a better
Mhm.
writer. No, I just have to write. That's my thing. And when I'm writing, I'm just fearless with it. I try to be as much as I can. Like I try to write fearlessly, and try to write honestly, and I try to stick to my style that I've created.
So Abhimanyu, tell us one more thing before we let you go and everything.
Please.
Okay, I think my video's gone off. Something's wrong on my end. Okay, back.
You're back. You're back. You're back.
So no, so as I was saying, everyone has a go-to thing. What is your go-to book? When
Go
say
to
like
book.
your mind is blocked and it's something like a writer's block. Have you faced it?
No, never. No,
No.
never. Because I don't believe in the concept of writer's block. You just run out of ideas and then you take a break. I know writers say write every day. Even I write every day. But I write every day knowingly that I'm not going to take everything into a book. I just write so that it's become a habit. I wake up and the first thing that I do is write. So maybe I'll write for 2 hours, maybe I'll write for 1 hour. If sometimes I get up at 4 o'clock and sometimes I get up at 9 o'clock. So the first thing, occupational hazard, you make a cup of coffee, right? So you do that. So first thing you do without, you just don't even think about it. You just make a cup of hot coffee and then you drink it and you start writing. So I start doing that. I've practiced it so many times. So now I'm just used to it. But there is no, I jumped off tracks. What was your question again?
it was about writer's block, and since you've taken a pause,
No,
I would let you know that it's a very similar thing to what Ruskin Bond also said. There was an online
okay,
interview of the gentleman, and it was about his new book that he was also releasing at that time, children's book. And someone asked him about writer's
right,
block, and he said a similar thing to you, that there is okay, sometimes you know, while you're writing some sort of a story and it just goes off kind of a thing, but then you get back to it. I mean, you just you know, he just keeps writing, he keeps writing, he keeps writing, he says, and obviously you go back and you review
right.
it, or you read it and you'll make your corrections later, but you don't just say, okay, I put my pen down and I'm done with it for now, kind of a thing, you know.
I don't do
So
that. It doesn't work for me. I make sure that I'm stepping out. So when I was in Pune, so you know, nowadays you even get your groceries at home. You just have an
yes,
app, and people come early morning and they hang the groceries on your door. Right? I hate that idea. I know convenience. I know employment. Yes, perfect. That's fantastic. But I personally am not a big fan, because I need to go out and I need to buy my groceries. You know, I need to enter the shop physically and pick my groceries up. And for the entire second wave lockdown that happened, I did not meet anyone for at least 3 or 4 months. This is like me not having a conversation with anyone but my grocery wala bhaiya. I just entered the shop and I gave him the card. He swiped the card. Acha, itna hua, thank you. This was my conversation for 3-4 months, because I was really, you know, that time I was in the zone. So yeah, that explains the zone. So, and
okay.
I'm not, no regrets. Like it was fantastic, and I need to do these things. So if I'm not, or if I've run out of ideas, I do need to work out. I do need to do the grocery stuff. I do need to go for a walk. So I make sure that even if I'm out of ideas, I keep doing all these things. I keep doing all these things when I'm not writing. I can't stress myself on idea nahi aa raha, idea nahi aa raha, idea aa jata hai. That's why time is a very good friend of a writer.
That's lovely, that's wonderful. So before we let you go, does Sanjay ji, Lalita ji, do you all have something to say to him before we let him go? Abhimanyu, I have found talking with you an absolute delight. I must say that. It's been
Same
very
here. I
interesting
enjoyed this.
and lovely. I
I
keep
love
going
this,
off
Mridu.
video, but this has been wonderful. And I really wish that, you know, slowly and steadily your repertoire of books grows, and we get more and more stuff from you to read. I'm really looking forward to Gulfi
Thanks.
now. I'm sorry, my video keeps going
Uh,
off.
So,
Something
so, so
my
yeah,
internet.
Abhimanyu,
but you're absolutely audible.
Thank you.
Abhimanyu, so you spoke about,
Hi, Sanjay.
right at the start of the interview, you spoke about ex-lovers.
Right.
So could you please tell us more about them? Are they
As I
also
said,
going to feature in one of your stories?
uh, so I will not outright name them, but as I said, that there are always traits and characteristics that you can put in a certain character. And it's not like you've always met beautiful people and who are really nice, and it's not that always you met evil, vile people, right? So you extract everything. That's my job. I'm a writer, but I wouldn't shame anyone by putting them, as they are in the book, or anyone, or maybe I wouldn't glorify them either. Like, I will try to keep that life separate from fiction.
From fiction.
So otherwise, I'm just surprised that you were stuck on ex-lovers. Nice.
Okay. Lalita?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Only question is, are you sure you're a millennial and not more than 50 years old?
Sorry. Say that again. I did hear a part of it. It made sense, but
I said,
please
are
repeat the
you
question,
sure
Lalita.
you are a millennial and not over 50 years old?
So on that, when I used to go for my open mics, right? So I literally had to introduce myself as I'm a 70-year-old man stuck.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're asking the same question.
Yeah.
Here, I would like to say something in his defense, ma'am. Most of his generation, they are very sorted. They know, they have a very clear process of thought, and all that is very admirable in their generation. And even the ones younger than them, I would take a pat on the back for that, for our generation, because we've brought up very sorted and very clear thinking individuals. I mean, we are the older generation.
Right.
So we did something right, that these children are, these youngsters are all very clear-minded. They know what they want and they know the path to go ahead and get it. All they require is support from us. So
I would like to add to that we are not a generation of self-made men and women. Our parents were that generation, so we are fortunate enough to have the liberty, the freedom to actually be ourselves. We are just very fortunate, and out of those, maybe some who will work really hard will reach wherever they want to reach. But we can't call ourselves, there's no chest swelling pride in, even when I become a successful writer, I get known globally, I can never say that I'm a self-made man. I know that for a fact. So yeah, we are just blessed, thanks to parents like you and Lalita and everyone, my parents. Yeah, we're just lucky.
that's wonderful. Thank you for acknowledging that, Manu. So any other questions that come to mind? Anything on the chat, sir? Did you have a chance to go through any viewer questions that are there up for Abhimanyu?
No, not right now, Mridu. I think I'll forward the chat to, or I'll forward the video clip to link to Abhimanyu also.
G.
Abhimanyu, you could go through that and see if there are any queries, then you could respond to them individually.
Right.
That would be wonderful.
Sure. Do I have to do it right now? Because
No. At your convenience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at your convenience.
Right. Sure. Perfect.
So basically, folks, y'all can ask him anything. Y'all can put in any of your little personal questions to him, because now we oldies are going to get out of it, and this youngster will be later on getting all the questions. So he'll personally answer to everyone. Right, Abhimanyu?
I will, 100%. 100%, yes.
So I think I'll take this opportunity on behalf of my entire Building Book Lovers Club. Thank you so much for joining us and speaking to us so candidly. It was wonderful and refreshing. And more than anything else, I am taking back that little quote of yours, thank yourself first every morning. So it is something like that old song, agar suna ho aapne to, dusron ki jai se pehle khud ki jai kare. So,
Yes.
thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm still off video because it's better this way. Otherwise it keeps flickering off.
Right.
And I'd like to thank
Thank you,
Sanjay for this opportunity. Lalita ji, thank you very much for discovering this gem. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I think that's a wrap from me now. Abhimanyu, please keep writing. Looking forward to Bulfi. Have a lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So thank you all very much. Thank you, readers, for being a part of this show and also loving Pioneer Book Lovers Club. Once again, reminding everyone, please do send us your short stories for the Write Contest 2021 for a chance to be published. Details for this short story contest are available on the Facebook group of Pioneer Book Lovers Club. And please also look out for the notification about the next author on our show. That also will be available on the Facebook page of Pioneer Book Lovers Club. Goodbye. Stay safe. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. Goodbye once again.
Thank you. So Sanjay ji, kaisa laga? Theek raha sab?
Yeah, it was just hold on.
We still have guests.
No, we are live actually. So let me end it.
Okay.
And we can log in again.
It's okay. Then let's get on the call.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Chalo, I'll log out.